So, good morning, everyone. It's good to see you. So today I've decided to talk about a topic that is relatively close to my heart, which is topic of preferences, following preferences, versus actually practicing or training the mind. So if you want any results on the path, if you want any results in any discipline whatsoever, whether it is going to the gym or practicing yoga or really doing anything, getting good at arts, playing an instrument, then there's certain causes to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve, right? And by putting those causes in place, the results will show. However, for most of us, it's often the case that we start with the results, thinking about the results, worrying about the results. We're trying to be mindful rather than creating the causes for mindfulness to arise. We're trying to meditate rather than putting the causes in place that give rise to meditation. We're trying to be good at something rather than actually tending to what needs to be done to get good at that thing. So it's all quite mental very often, like thinking about things rather than actually doing them, rather than actually getting the work done. So many people, for example, sit down and try to meditate and see that it doesn't really work out, that it's difficult, the mind is all over the place, super distracted, the body hurts. And then instead of continuing to practice so that it may get better over time, they then start to read books about meditation. Like, I must be doing something wrong, it's uncomfortable. It doesn't work the way I think it should. So let me read some more about it so that I know what I'm supposed to do. And then they read more about it, and then they watch a few videos online on YouTube about meditation and so forth. So you get all these kind of ideas, then you sit back down and you start to practice again, and might work for a few sessions, a little bit, it's new, it's exciting, you've just jumped the technique, you do something else, of course. So it feels like something new, your mindfulness is there again, it works out for a little while, and then it doesn't again. So what we do next is we jump the technique again, maybe visit a different teacher, maybe try something else, maybe visualize, maybe use a mantra instead, maybe that works. So we never really get anything done because we try to make things work instead of focusing on the causes that make those things work. Do you see the difference in that? Does that make any sense? It sounds a bit weird to myself even, but that's a very common problem. Like some people say, I can't do yoga because I can't stretch. That's a ridiculous statement. But that exactly shows really this problem. I can't, or what I also hear a lot, I can't meditate because I'm too distracted. That's why you do it, isn't it? That's why you practice meditation, so distraction becomes less. But if we don't know why, of course, then we don't really feel the motivation to practice. So there is a benefit to studying and reading and visiting groups, etc. It gives you the power of the why. It's almost a bit like advertising. So you come here and I advertise. I do some meditation marketing. So hopefully you feel fired up to do some more practice. Because it's the practice in the end that actually gets you the results. And if you want to do the practice, you have to calculate in that you're really bad at the practice in the beginning. This is part of it, it's normal. It belongs. At the beginning you have to really mess up a lot of things. And it is through this messing up that you actually learn to correct your course. And over the course of thousands of times of messing up, you gradually learn to orient yourself more and more skillfully. This is the process. But if you're in the beginning, if you're afraid of making mistakes, and you want to get it all right before you do it, you'll waste a whole lot of years before you actually get any real result from meditation practice. So you have to dare to face your ignorance about a certain topic, and then dive in and do it and try to put it together. Like what we did this session, right? We covered 2 stages. Now when you go home, you could sit down, you set your timer for, let's say, 30 minutes, and then you try to go through those stages, and you'll find you forget half of it, maybe even more. Like, how did he start? I have no idea. Like, he said something about the posture, and then presence, something about presence. Was it like, okay, I just listen to the birds then. And so you spend 30 minutes listening to the birds. All right, fair enough, that's not bad. It's much better than not even starting at all, because you don't remember what you've learned in the session here, or what we did together. You at least give it a shot. Then you come back next session, and you come back with an intention to listen really well, so that you pick up, like, what was it that he was doing when he did the guided meditation? And so your listening will be very different, because you want to find out what to do when you sit alone at home next time. So you're listening completely differently. You listen with the intent to practice. You're not listening with the intent to get information. All the things that I'm talking about, they're nothing more than like something like a TV's manual. That's the whole point. The TV's manual is not religion. It's not something you need to believe in. It's instruction, isn't it? It tells you, like, press that button and then this will happen. Cause, result. Let's say your relationship is troublesome, a difficult relationship. There's a lot of fighting, arguing, this and that. Like, rather than trying to fix the fighting or fixing your partner, it might be much better to investigate, like, what's the cause? Why is it that we fight? Why is it that I become emotional? Even better, forget the partner. Forget your significant other for a moment. Look at yourself. Where within yourself is the cause for you feeling unhappy? Is it really because of your partner, or is it really because of your own personal issue that's playing out? It usually is. In fact, I would say it always is. It's a bold statement, but I stand behind it. I think the first step in any functioning relationship is to take responsibility for your own suffering and for your own happiness also. It fixes a lot of trouble. As long as we're looking for someone else to either fulfill us, to make us happy, or to give us some sort of pain, we're lost completely. The mind is in the wrong place. And life shows you that the mind is in the wrong place by giving you repeated conflict. It's life's clever way of showing you you're not doing it right. You're in your own way. Somewhere you're sabotaging yourself. And finding that out, this is our own job. Like finding out, where am I in my own way? What is it that I might not communicate clearly? What is it that makes me so upset and angry all the time? Why am I so angry all the time? But for that you need a lot of honesty. First of all, have to see, damn, I'm really angry. Right? If you miss that point because you're looking at your partner, then contemplate how to punish him for making you angry. or punish her for making you angry, then it's already, you're lost, that the mind is already completely somewhere else. It's busy causing more pain. So this honesty of seeing yourself, wow, I'm so angry because I really don't pay attention to myself. I don't give myself what I really need. And instead of giving myself what I really need, I ask it from someone else. What would you tell me if I said, hi everyone, this is Pan, this is my wife. It's her job to make me happy. How does that sound?
Great wife.
Yeah.
It works.
That's a pretty weird statement, right? And yet very often it's exactly what we feel and what we are convinced of. Yes, it's her job to make me happy. And if she might fail at that, she might not do a good job, I get angry at her. Because she's not doing her job, really. She's not making me happy. She's doing something wrong, obviously. She should be making me happy, but instead she gives me trouble, right? If I'm talking like this, it sounds awful. But isn't it the way we think most of the time? These really, in a hidden way, it's other people that make me happy, it's other people that make me sad. So first step is always honesty. Well, it's in fact really the entire path. If you're not honest with yourself, there is no way that you can ever approach seeing the truth. And this path, after all, is about seeing truth. It is what sets you free. But as long as we're unwilling to face our own responsibilities and let go of the various clever ways of making ourselves and others around us suffer, there is no betterment inside. The world can't become a better place, no matter how often we shout it on the streets. If we're not tending to our own shortcomings. Some people even convinced they have no shortcomings. I have no shortcomings. Everything's good with me. I'm fine. It's you. It's you. You're the problem. It's like wearing red glasses, complaining that people are all looking really red. Doesn't make any sense. But it's hard to see your own red glasses, right? So this honesty then leads us to a certain training. We need to have a web of rules that keeps you protected. Well, that's why in many religions, for example, people take vows. Like not to kill, not to lie, not to steal. There's a set of Buddhist vows, the 5 basic vows. No killing, no lying, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, and no intoxication. Imagine everyone in the world would follow just those 5 promises and stick to them. Just imagine only one village where everyone does that. I think in Thailand there is a village where everyone follows those 5 vows. I don't know which one it is, but Pan told me about it once. He said there's a village, everyone follows those 5 vows strictly. No killing, no lying, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no intoxication. That removes quite a lot of conflict right there. It removes a lot of problems that human beings have with each other. And at the same time, it's kind of like a fence. It's like a fence. It keeps you on a path. So a set of rules can keep us on our path. Like, for example, if you notice that you're using your smartphone way too much, and you notice the result of that is the mind is super scattered, you can't sleep properly anymore, you're worrying about things that are not your business at all. These kind of things, right? If you notice that, you say, oh, that comes from using my smartphone way too much, it would be sensible to make yourself a rule, right? So I'm using my smartphone only from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. or something like that. I'm allowed to use my smartphone. You're kind of parenting yourself. Now it's 2 p.m. You're bored. Your preference would be to look at your smartphone. But it's not the path. Or it is a path, it is a path, but it doesn't lead to where you want to be. So you give in, you follow your preference, you use your phone, you check on Facebook, whatever, this, that, and you end up feeling like miserable because you, one, you broke your own promise to yourself, and two, you've contributed again to your own downfall. So you lose self-respect. How can you respect someone that says one thing and does another? And that applies to ourselves too, right? How can I respect myself if I say tomorrow I'll get up at 5 a.m. and as soon as the alarm goes off I'm turning on the snooze and forget about it? How could I respect myself? I'm not doing what's difficult. How can I respect that? Instead, I'm going the easy way. Easy way is easy. What feels good keeps you in your comfort zone. That's why we have that nice little word, right? Comfort zone. You can stay in your comfort zone and you will not grow, guaranteed. You only experience growth outside of your comfort zone. Not anywhere outside of your comfort zone. But getting outside of your comfort zone with a clear intention. The intention to actually grow, like setting this 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. rule with my phone. And it's 2 p.m. and I want to use it, and I really want to use it because I'm feeling miserable. Instead of using it, I focus to tend to this misery inside of myself. Asking myself, why the heck am I feeling so miserable? Just because I can't do what I want to do, why does that make me so miserable? It's incredible how much misery there is within me. And that's where the practice happens. That's where you can really grow. You're not following the easy way. The easy way is to react immediately, to just impulsively walk through life, just doing whatever comes into your mind right away, giving it no further thought, just taking in any kind of information without any further reflection, clicking like on Facebook. Without even checking, is that accurate? Is that real? Have I checked the background of that? We develop into a generation of people who are unable to think for themselves. We're very able to repeat information, and we are dressed to do that. Aren't you noticing? The whole social media and media in general is geared toward you taking in information and taking it in. And then we repeat it, we share it, right? Can you believe it? Click, share, like, react. Instead of taking a moment, waiting a little bit, maybe checking, what's the background of this? Is this photoshopped? Is it not? What's the consequence of me sharing this? Does it contribute to anything good, anything worthwhile? Or does it just create more panic, more fear, more outrage? So within an age where everything is really geared towards being more and more impulsive, more and more short-lived, like a video should be under a minute now so people can pay attention to it, like that's sad. Like we're not even able to pay attention anymore to a 1-minute video. What does that say about us? If you want to get across a message, you better do that fast in the first 10 seconds of the video, best. And then let the people hang by saying things like, and watch my video all the way to the end to get the super secret bonus feature that I'm going to talk about. But I'm going to talk about it in the end. So people browse forward. to get that super secret bonus feature. I see myself doing things like that. And then in between you have all these little short adverts. You're watching one information and you're concentrating on it, and all of a sudden it's like, beep, 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 chewing gum, or something like this. And it's like out of nowhere, or like a car commercial or something like this. And he's like, what? Where did that come from? It's an overkill of short bits and pieces of information of people who seek to get your attention. The highest good is your attention. Once you pay attention to something, you feed it. And our attention, if you notice, you're not in control over your attention. Right? Your attention goes now here, it goes now there. It follows its own ways. What kind of ways are those ways? The ways that your attention follows is the ways that it's been conditioned to follow. So if you, for example, look at certain information for a certain time, your attention gets conditioned to spot that information and to serve that to you. Because obviously it's something you're interested in, something that you need, so your brain makes it easier available. So it filters out amongst a set of informations that particular information, and you see it immediately. That's not because you choose to do so. It's because it's conditioned. Given that, we need to pay attention to how we let our attention be conditioned, by what kind of information. And learn the art of thinking, questioning again, thinking for yourselves. Using the power of your mind, not just repeating information. And this process, for example, in a relationship, when your partner makes you angry, and then not to reply, but to be quiet, to shut your mouth, and then face what's inside of you, facing the beast that needs love, that needs attention most, that rage inside of you that wants to express itself. That is real practice. Simultaneously, it's one of the most difficult things you could ever do. Think of the levels of self-respect you're getting if you actually do it. Not just boasting about it. Like, do something difficult every day. Do something that you're really afraid of every day. Get out of your comfort zone. Post. The true magic happens outside of your comfort zone. But like, have you really left it? Really? I mean, there's a difference between really leaving your comfort zone and deluding yourself that you've left it. So really leaving it, you wouldn't want to do it. That's a sign that you're actually at the edge of your comfort zone. You wouldn't want to do it. Your preference is to stay inside. I'd rather not leave the house right now. I'd rather curl up and turn around one more time. I'd rather not do my meditation because I'm so busy with this and that. I'd rather look into my phone right now because I'm so bored. And then not doing that. One of the Thai forest masters, Ajahn Chah, always said, whatever it wants, I don't give it, was his practice. So he was referring to his mind. Whatever his mind wants, he didn't give it. And he really pulled that one through. Like when food would come his way in the morning, the monks are offered food, and his favorite food came along, and it was like some sort of fried fish or something, and it just came the way, and he saw that from afar, and he developed the wish to eat it. It's like, oh, that fish, I love it. He would not eat anything. There's just no breakfast then. That's living outside of your comfort zone. One of my teachers, you see him up here, I don't know if you've ever been to Krabi, to the Tiger Cave Temple. For those of you who live here, you might have been there. It's quite a tall, like one of those limestone mountains, and there is a stairway up with like around 1,200 stairs. It's pretty tough to go up there because the stairs are all different height and like pretty weird angles and everything, so it's really hard to go up there. And he went up and down there 5 times a day, just as a practice. You go up, it's really difficult. Your mind complains. The legs hurt like hell. But you still make 1 step. And then another step. That's how you train yourself to relax. If you do that for a while, you become quite a relaxed person. Nothing can easily shock you anymore. You know pain very well. And you're able, because you've such a good relationship with pain, you can relax when pain comes. You're friends. Because you made an effort to make friends with pain. Because pain is coming for us all the time. There's so many situations where pain comes in. And so if you know it, if you have a good relationship with it, you're able to relax anyways. And that's the skill that good meditators develop. So people say, I'm wondering, like, how can you remain so calm when this and this and this happens? Well, because I'm practicing to remain calm when shit happens. I'm not saying no to it. I'm not having the demand towards life that shit should not happen, because it does for all of us all the time. So we need to learn to deal with it instead of avoiding it. Look at it. There it is. What's the message it has for you? If suffering comes to you, what does it teach you? This is a real teacher. Suffering is a great teacher. It teaches you all about your preferences, and it teaches you all about truth, and it teaches you about the war between preference and truth. Like, here's how it should be, here's how I'd like it to be, and here's how it is. And can you accept that? In other words, can you love it for what it is? Love is rooted in acceptance. The moment you can't accept your partner for doing what he or she does, you're out of love. And you start blame games, right? Love is the ability to accept what is, and then to act based on what is true, not what you'd rather do. So in that way, we train and condition the mind to operate in ways that serve us in the long run, not just like short-term gratification. A long run, thinking long-term. If I do this repeatedly, who will I become? Very good question to ask ourselves. If I repeatedly don't follow my preference and do what's right instead, what I know to be right, what I know I should be doing, who will I become? That is powerful practice and difficult. And to anyone who does that, I have highest respect. Anyone who actually lives their days like that, not following what they want and like constantly doing whatever they prefer to do, but actually doing what's good for them and doing the work and putting it in, that is quite amazing. I like the way my teacher practices. It is in exactly that way. He puts in hard hours every day of good practice, solid practice, and then he completely relaxes during the evening hours. He just enjoys life. He enjoys good food, he watches movies with his wife, he relaxes with friends, but he also equally puts in the hard work. I think this is quite inspiring. Okay, so this is all that comes to mind for today.